Kelen. I play in the story so far. I need water. Well, there's a lot less people in New Zealand, so according to our guide, Rowan, who took us around, he was the man. He took us basically, it wasn't so much about the shows there, it was like 8 hours before the show, this cool guy we were hanging out with, like taking us on hikes on like cliff facings on the ocean and doing all that kind of stuff that you can only do in New Zealand, and then playing shows that according to him were incredible for New Zealand. Their capacities are smaller because it was like, I would say like 200 to 500 a night, but like they're very invested in it because bands don't often make the trip out to New Zealand. But like I said, it's like it's very hard to become a citizen of that country. So there's just not as many people there, but they're great people. It was really like, as far as people thinking, oh, this tour is not gonna like that's not gonna work or whatever, it was really successful. Like that, and those guys being some of the coolest guys I've ever toured with. It was like, not only were the shows great, because we had 6 Year Guns as a part of it too, they're also like a heavier band, but all the guys on the tour were great. So, you know, everyone on the tour was having a good time, and everyone coming out to the shows was having a good time, so it did no wrong. It was great. Yeah.
It was really cool, especially the last day.
The last day, yeah. When security walked out, that was one of the most memorable shows I'll ever play in my life. That was awesome. That whole tour, just successful. As far as like kids coming out and having a good time, and the bands, you know, like having high morale because of the shows, you know, so it was good. I mean, I think everyone does. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone if you're still touring like a dog, you know what I mean? Like, then definitely gets tired. You have to get tired of it at some point, but like, if you're the Foo Fighters, it's probably not, you probably don't get that tired of it. Because all those guys have to do now is like, jump on a private plane and fly out to whatever festival they're playing, right? So it's like, I mean, it really depends on how you're touring. Us though, like, you know, we're young. This is the time to be touring as much as we can while we, I guess, physically can handle it, and like mentally can handle it too. We don't have things tying us to home so much, you know, as people with kids and wives and whatever. So I don't know, like we did a lot. We toured a lot last year, but now is about the time we're gonna have to slow down and take time to focus on writing music and eventually recording an album. So it's just cyclical, you know, like you reach the point where your head's against the wall, and you just like smooth it out and take a big long break and work on the other half of what being in a band is, you know, so. Well, you can see when it was those bands how much larger it was, right? Like those bands are still around today because they were so big back then, right? Like we're very much an independent band, you know, like everything that those bands did was I mean, they were the biggest bands at the time, right? So a lot of them were, you know, I don't mean independent in the sense of like even a major label. It's just like what we're doing is so much smaller than what those bands did, but they basically put like a rung in the music cycle that we're able to, you know, we can reach because they did it and they made a market for it. And so people they sonically like the things that we do because it's reminiscent of those things, right? So as far as filling people's shoes, I don't think it's something we'll ever do, but you know, it's a good thing that we had those bands to basically, you know, guide our tastes to eventually write the songs that we do now. It was basically a matter of not releasing anything or just doing something small that was, you know, it would have been too difficult to have set up everything and tracked. And if we're gonna write a new song, like that's the only way we didn't have to write 5 new songs, 6 new songs, and put out a release. So we were able to rework songs we already had, write a new song, all within the like you know, the matter of like 2 days. It was really just a very simple thing. We didn't want to make a big deal about it. We just knew that obviously we've been touring a long time, and kids, you know, like maybe things were getting stale on our end, so we had to. It wasn't, and even then it wasn't so much we didn't feel like we had to do something. We just kind of like figured why not do something. It was fun for us. Kids like it, or they don't. But hey, we didn't have to release it, so whatever. But yeah, it was just something really simple. We don't play the songs live just because we don't feel like it fits within the confines of our live show. Like, I know kids really probably want to hear it, but I think that would happen in a different context if we did like an acoustic performance, right? But if we're at Warped Tour, it's too much to tone everything down and play a song like that. I feel, you know, like keeps the energy, it lowers the energy. I didn't even know they were doing it. As long as, I mean, who's gonna star in it? Do they know? I thought that might be the name that came out of your mouth. I don't know about how I feel about that. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not. Space Jam 1 was my childhood. This is being created for an entirely different audience, right? Like kids now who are into basketball look up to LeBron James as, you know, the greatest NBA star of this day and age. So maybe they'll think it's cool, I don't know. But I probably won't see it and think, oh, this is going to be better than Space Jam 1. It's not going to be, so. Oh man, those both kind of suck. No thumbs. If I had no thumbs, I couldn't play bass. I literally couldn't do it. I feel like if I had all thumbs, that might be preferable. I could actually like still hold stuff. Like if you don't have a thumb, like thumb is pretty useful. Like, you know, you can really utilize the thumb. So if you had all thumbs, you might actually be more
like efficient?
Like I feel like I can put more pressure down with my thumb than any other finger in my hand. So it might just give me like a super grip and I might be kind of sick.
You'd be able to climb walls.
It would just be short. I actually have a pretty long thumb, so it probably wouldn't be that bad. Maybe I could climb walls. I could definitely, like, if I got into a fight, like, you know, put a lot of, you know, had to gouge 5 people's eyes out, I could just like, would be cool. Thank you.